Do you do a lot of improv and sketch in New York, or since you moved, or do you is it mostly stand up?
Yeah, I perform a lot at the People's Improv Theater. We have a regular improv show there called Reverse 5. We host a show called The Scene, which is just one scene, like an improvised one-act play, which is I think pretty accessible to regular people. It's every other Saturday at 7 o'clock. I have a sketch group that I work with there. And I do a lot of sketch with Dan Hershon and Joe List, both from Boston. We do a lot of video sketch.
There's a lot of great stuff on there. I'll be linking a couple of those
cool,
at least.
Yeah. And so I like that, and I like what stand-up has done for me in the way of introducing me to stand-ups who I think are just incredible. Who, if I wasn't doing stand-up, I would just sort of watch. And then I'd come up to him afterwards and be like, "Hey, you were great." That's what happened with Joe List. When I first moved to Boston, I saw him at the Comedy Connection. He was far and away the best performer of the evening. Then I went up to him afterwards and I was like, "You were great, man. Do you know of any open mics that I can go to around here?" And he told me about a few, but then that was about it. There's a camaraderie with stand-up comedians, I think, that it's sort of like if you've been in prison with somebody. I assume I haven't been in prison, but there's a common language of I killed out there, I bombed, or you just I think it's just if you've done enough stand-up to do some really shitty shows, you have a common bond with people.
How much did that help having so many Boston regular faces when you went down to New York?
Oh, it's great. That's one of the main reasons I moved to New York and not Los Angeles. I still have never gone to Los Angeles. I'd like to someday, because I hear that's where you can make money. But a lot of the stand-ups I knew in New York, there's a lot of performance opportunity, and Boston stand-ups help each other out.
Did it help that you didn't have to break in quite as much? So when you went you already had an in to different places once you got there?
Yeah, there's a weird respect in New York. I shouldn't say it's weird. It's not surprising. People. There's some great stand-ups that have come out of Boston for the past 30 years, and there hasn't been much of a lull. I mean, you go from Lenny Clark and Stephen Wright all the way to Mike Kaplan and Shane Moss and
Bill Burr and some of those folks.
Absolutely, and Bill Burr and even David Cross, all those people in the middle. I'm also talking about out of my ass here. I only lived here for 3 years, so it's not like I know Bill Burr, or David Cross, or I did a show with Stephen Wright one time. That was a highlight. Well,
you were here for 3 years, so that means Boston comedy claimed you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way it's worked.
Yeah. I always get this in New York, man, you Boston guys really stick together. And it's a sort of part jealousy, part admiration of comedians that come from other cities or are from New York, and they're like, Boston's very incubational for stand-up comedians.
Do you still work with Mike Kaplan frequently?
Yeah, whenever he's in town. And that guy's touring a lot these days.
Yeah, he's got the CD coming out.
Yeah,
the
Vegan
special.
Mind Meld. Check it out on iTunes. But we perform together whenever we can. We've got a gig right after I leave Boston for a couple days after I get back. So we still play a lot of music.
And I know that this particular video is a little bit old now, but I think I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, where the hell did Old Man and Eggs come from?
Old Man and Eggs was Dan Hershon and I have been working together for a while, and so have Joe and Dan. And the three of us got together and we were like, we should make some sketch comedy, because what the hell else are we going to do with our time in New York? I had just moved there, and Joe and Dan had been living there for about a year. And we got together wrote 3 scripts, and we chose between one of them, and had a friend of mine from college shoot it. It was like a videographer, and where'd it come from? I don't know. It's just retarded.
I enjoyed it quite a lot.
Thanks,
but
man, yeah.
Are you and Dan going to do another a sketch CD like the first one?
I'd really like to. Lampshades and Ottomans, check it out on iTunes. Yeah, I'd love to. And, schedule permitting, I'd love to do another CD with Dan.
That's kind of a lost art, that sort of audio sketch kind of stuff.
It's pretty big when there were no such things as televisions.
These days you only get like Sharpling and Worcester do it, and Adam Sandler's probably the biggest guy.
We were inspired
still
pretty
out there.
heavily by Adam Sandler's CDs. Yeah, I love those CDs.
So you'll be with Second City until when here? It's going to be Tuesday through Sundays?
Yeah, 8 shows a week, 2 shows Friday and Saturday. Matinee on Sunday. Monday we have off for 3 weeks until May 9th. And we have an improv set after every show except for Friday nights. And Saturday we only have a show after the late show, improv set.
And is there anything else coming up in Boston or that Boston folks should look for?
Oh yeah, I do an improv show on Wednesdays at Improv Boston now. So there's some folks from the cast, some folks from Improv Asylum, and some folks from Improv Boston, and I just tried to get my favorite improv performers in Boston and the cast that I'm with now to get together and do a show. That's Wednesdays at 10:30 at IB.
Yeah, well, thanks for sitting down. I appreciate it.
Time to spare.